The following presentation is brought to you by Snap House, Houston-based photography services.
Currently, as a Chief Creative Officer at Activator Pictures, my typical week is depends on what project we have on our table. But in a week where we have a project going, which is most of the time, it starts with meeting with the client, meeting with clients and going over the scope of what they want to do. That client could be anything from from a brand company that wants a commercial created to a creative network that wants a show or content made for their channel. It usually starts with a meeting where they give out their ideas and we take them in, and as a creative, my job is to listen to what they want and to kind of present it back to them in a way that's creative, that captures the goal of what they want to say in a unique and fun storytelling way. So usually it starts with a meeting, taking that meeting and outlining that into a pitch that goes back to the client to show them, here's what we can do with your needs, and here's what we can do in creating a brand, a story for your product. So no matter what it is, our approach to our job is everything's a story. A 15-second commercial or a 2-hour movie, it's all about telling a story. And so that's the first part of the job. Then from there, we prepare for production. So in a typical week, I'm going from taking a meeting to starting to break down the details of what we're gonna shoot. If there's a script that needs to be written, that gets written. I'm either writing that directly myself or I'm overseeing the writing of that part of the project, depending on the scope of it. Then we start to gear up for production, which could mean interviewing people for crew, to kind of deciding who's our right DP, to finding locations, starting to work on crafting the directing of the project. And if it's a quick turnaround, that could lead right into production, which would be a shoot day either on like a Friday or a Saturday, where we go out on location and we actually film what we've set out to create. So that's like a production week. And then that's usually followed by a post-production week, which is where the footage is brought back in-house. We have an editor on board, and I kind of sit with the editor to go over what was shot, what we want to do, how we want to craft it, and that gets sent back to the clients to get their notes and their input before we finalize it. So a typical week, I guess, is spread over 2 weeks just because of the nature of production. It takes a lot of time to go from beginning to end on something, but it's all about kind of taking the journey through the creative process of a story. Now, this is kind of a stretched out answer, but in a situation where we're not in production, my typical week is about bringing in new business and meeting new clients and saying where we're going to spread our scope to reach new elements, and that could be as simple as meeting with ad agencies and PR agencies and firms to kind of give them a capabilities presentation, let them know what we can do, who we are as Activator Pictures, and see if there's anything that they want to do with us. Or it could also be development on ideas or stories that we think are viable or marketable in the marketplace. And so it's spending time reading, researching, and writing and developing those elements to take out into the marketplace. And as Chief Creative Officer, even projects that I am not directly a creative on, I still have to oversee because it's my job to protect the brand of the company. So even if we've got an external writer or another member of our team has an idea that we're developing, my job is to oversee it, take a look at it, make sure that it's meeting certain levels, and that it's got our creative stamp as a company on the product, no matter what it is.